Hello, Mr. Gheorghiu.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. Yourself, we see another
Yeah, we
series of
continue a
your
little bit.
games.
Yeah, as
Yes,
long as our friends are interested to see, my own games, we try to show them
they
a little bit
definitely
more.
are,
Yeah, a little bit more. We
and
showed already many, but okay, we have another chance right now.
perfect. Okay, so now you play
So
against.
I played this one against Hug, Werner Hug. He was in that time, well, in these years, he was junior world champion and
Junior world
uh,
champion.
yeah, yeah, and he played very well, of course. And in my opinion, one of the most talented young players from Switzerland. It's very unclear why he didn't become later on grandmaster because he played better than many who became later, grandmasters. But okay, he
Maybe
now he's retired. Yeah, of course.
he
But
choose another
maybe he,
career.
he studied at the university and so on, and he neglected a little bit chess at the highest level, and therefore maybe.
Yes.
But anyway, he was dangerous, very tactical player, very good player tactically, and this one is a very nice example. Our game, we'll see. So right, in the main variation with bishop b4, after knight g2, this is something a little bit, uh, is not the main variation I want to say, but it was recommended by Alehin, and he had a lot of good games, and he won many against many strong players. If Black makes some small mistakes, he doesn't play the best all the time.
Yeah.
White is always a little bit better, has good tactical chances, and we'll see what happens. So he took, of course, in e4. Well, the alternative was to play immediately knight f6, but even after knight f6, I mean, waiting a little bit, white
Yes.
is still a little bit better. Okay, so after a3, he preferred to go back. The alternative was to take in c3 like this, bishop takes c3 check, knight takes c3, knight f6, bishop g5, knight c6, and bishop b5. And that position, white is a little bit better all the time. Not very much, but it's always very pleasant for white, you see. Okay, so if white takes back the pawn, takes back the pawn, of course, he's always better because has initiative, more space, and so on. This is the idea for white. Yeah. Okay, so he goes back. Now this is more positional to go back. Okay, so I took in e4. He played knight f6. As now is little by little, white has to show that he has something. A little bit, but okay, pleasant. So knight e4, knight g3, pardon, knight c6, c3. All right. So now he tried immediately e5. He tried to free himself very quickly. You see. Well, from now on, we have very tactical game. So I took there, of course, and d5, of course, the only way to try to show that white is has something. Some edge. Okay, d5, knight e7, and now very important, bishop c4, not c4. If white plays c4, it's very little. It's not much. But
Why?
which, yeah, because the pawn from d5, in some positions, if you have to trade it, you have nothing. Castle and so on, knight f5, very little, and later on he can try c6 to get rid of this central pawn. After bishop c4, the problem is that after bishop c4, he wants to free himself by trading a few pieces. Now, yeah. So he played immediately knight f5. That was the idea. Okay, so knight f5. I took. He took, and okay. If you look at the position, white has an extra tempo. Therefore, is important. An extra move.
To keep it.
Yeah. So now I played queen b3. Queen b3 is very, very ambitious, very good move. Because pardon, I played first check. Yeah, first check. Now bishop d7 first. Otherwise, he can't castle anymore. If he doesn't play bishop d7. And now very important, queen b3. Now black has to decide what to do. If he doesn't play like in our game, then he has many problems here because white wants, to take a pawn, at least a pawn. Yeah. Trading there and taking in b7. So, all right, so he played first c6. And now I played back, I can take in c6, but it's little, it's not too much. So bishop c4 is very unpleasant for black because now black has to decide what to do. The threat is now to take in c6 and take in f7. This is
Yes.
the most important,
Yeah.
In the same time, if he castles now, you see, white has time to take in b7. And when he takes him d5, you can take back with the queen. And that gives big edge for white, because everything is forced.
Yeah.
Pawn up for nothing, you see. So he tried to complicate, So he took in d5, I took, yeah. And he castled. And now from here, white takes a pawn, but black has some tactical counter chance, So you have to be careful. But if both play very well, white has still an edge, in every position. But you have to play the best moves all the time, with white to keep the advantage, yeah. So, right, I took there. He played rook b8, of course, very good. He gives the second pawn for an initiative. You see, this is the... Okay, so now he played bishop f5, very good. And what did I play? Bishop c4, very good. Bishop c4, excellent move. So now, if he plays, for instance, bishop d3 now, it's not enough because white can take, queen takes, and queen e3. The queen comes back, and it's much better for white all the time, no problem. So, all right, so now he closes a little bit the diagonal, but he has a little bit more space, and now the bishop from f6 becomes a little bit dangerous. You have to be careful, because you have the pawns, but black has the initiative and a little bit more space, so it's not clear for the moment, you see. All right, so I castle, of course, no? And here he played bishop e5. Well, he wants something, you see, what, something. He wants simply to play queen h4, queen h3 after g3, and then he has some idea on the white squares, have some threats, you see.
Yeah.
Because in the in the same time, you have two pieces that don't play too much, the bishop from c1 and the rook from a1, trying to keep the advantage, the pawns, you see.
Yes.
But they are inactive for the moment, you see. All right, so bishop e3 accepts the fact that you give back something, but at least you play with all your pieces, and therefore white is clearly better here, no? But again, it's not decisive. You have to play well until the end. All right, so he took, no? And I play rook b1. We agreed to give the second pawn in c3. But the problem now for later on is that we have still the a pawn.
Yeah.
In any position, the a pawn and the h pawn are very dangerous because they run very quickly. You see, this
They
is
have
the
faster
problem.
legs.
Yeah, for any endgame, they are very very unpleasant for your opponent. You see. So now he has to play the best moves all the time. To try to find the best counter chances. Okay, queen h4, of course.
So he didn't took here.
No, because if he takes, the problem is that you can't even push immediately. You push, if you push the pawn to a6, it's enough to win. If it's so far away.
Yeah.
So he tries something tactical. Of course, now queen h5, and here what did I play? Here?
You push the pawn.
I push the pawn, of course. Yeah. So now bishop h3. Now he threatens something. So queen a5 is very good because now the queen is active, the problem. You control the squares. So he played, of course, queen f3. Now bishop f1, no?
Yes.
Bishop f1, he takes, no? If he doesn't take, it's worse for black, because then you can put the bishop in g2, threatening immediately the pawn from e4,
Yes.
So rook takes, and here he played back the bishop, all right. He played back the bishop, and white is no threat anymore on the queen side, and you have time to put the rook in c1. Okay, so rook d8. He threatens now check in d1 with some chances to give perpetual.
Yes.
So you have to be, again, you have to be very careful. But, all right, white is better, c4. For the moment, okay. If you want to try to give perpetual, okay, you can try, but it's not perpetual, you know?
No?
No. So I think he gave check, no?
Let's
Or
see.
what?
Yes.
Yeah, he gave check. I took, no? He took, check, king g2, check there, he check again. And here, of course, we repeat it a little bit in time trouble, and then finally white plays queen e1. Now we transpose. We give the a pawn, but we have still the c pawn, also very dangerous, you know. That also, you know,
Yeah.
is running very quickly, you see.
Yeah. But his check here wasn't doing anything.
No,
right?
because you go away with the king, you know, and when he gives check is f3,
Yes.
then you go to d2 and no checks anymore, you know. It's even worse for black, you know, because has no check immediately. He has
And no
to
pawn,
do-
yeah.
So here he, you know, he hopes already to have some very good chances to give a perpetual somehow, you see.
Yeah.
In time trouble. Okay, check, king g2, h6, good, queen d2. Well, time trouble again. And queen b4. We try to put the queen in b6 and then advance the pawn, you know, this is the plan, you see. But we have to be careful against the black threats to give still a perpetual somehow, you see. You have to control. So queen b6, queen c8. Well, until now, white played very well, you know, played very well, very logical and so. And here, probably we analyzed afterwards, after the game, probably the best move, and no, it's not very difficult to see, but I tell you, it was the last move before the control or something, and I played immediately c6, the
Yeah.
most natural move, you see.
Yes.
But instead of c6, it was still much better to play first h3. If white plays h3, it's very good because you control some squares,
Yes.
and it's very difficult for black to threaten something. I mean, the
Perpetual.
the perpetual. If you have the pawn in c6 afterwards, you know,
Yeah.
if he trades queens, he's lost immediately, you know, in a few moves.
Yeah.
By playing c6, well, I didn't realize because it was fantastic time trouble, you know, very big time trouble. So I played c6. It seems it's finished, you know, for
Yes.
right now. But now he defended very well, and you have to win the second time this winning position. You see, it's very instructive. You see. So okay, queen b7. And now he gives you the bishop, but plays queen g4. You see, this is the difference. Therefore, h3 was very important. You know. Now, if you take the bishop, it's perpetual. You know. He gives perpetual. Queen d1, queen f3, queen d1, queen h5. Draw. You know. You can't escape. The king can't escape.
Yes.
So therefore, you have to start again, all over again, you know. All right, but at least here we have time. I mean, we finished the time trouble, so now we play the second part of the game, but white has to demonstrate how he can win. It's not so easy, you see, because always black has some chances to give perpetual, you know. All right, queen d5, centralizing the queen. Now he can't give a check in d1, very important, you know.
Yeah.
And we prepare a very nice idea. You see, the idea is very, very beautiful because it's forced, you know. So what do you play? Queen d7, yes. Queen d7, king d6. And now the best move of the game, g4, you know. g4, controlling all the squares, you know. You control the f5 square, and he can't give for the moment. It's not a threat to give perpetual, but the bishop from c7 now is open, you know, has open diagonal. No? Somehow it's not clear, but it's clear, but you have to play very well until the end, you see. g4 was the most difficult move of the game, you see. Yeah. And now black, okay, bishop e5. Of course, he doesn't give the bishop now. And now, if now h3 again, fantastic move, very logical. It was the last moment where white could go wrong here by playing c7. If you play c7 again, is draw, you know, probably because he has many chances to give check, you know, with the pawn in h2. The pawn in h2, he gives you the bishop, and when you take the bishop, queen takes g4 check and perpetual again, you know.
Yeah.
This is the problem. So what to do? I played here c7. Okay.
Now
And
after,
now it's
yeah.
too late, because if he gives the bishop, it's now perpetual. You control the cases, the squares.
Because now
You
you
go
go
on black
on
now.
black.
You don't go on white. You go on black.
Yes, 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 yes,
So
yes, yeah.
this is the big difference.
Yeah.
So now he has to take, and now again the best move, trading the best piece of black. Is no checks anymore. Only checking h2. The only checking h2, but you can escape. The white king can escape now. You see. So what did he play? He gave check, king there, again check now.
No, he resigned here.
He resigned. But now why? Because, for instance, the only possible way to do something is to give check in h1.
Yes.
You go to e2, queen f3 check, yeah? And now
Yes.
you go on black, king e1. And it's enough,
So
It's
if
no
it,
check, yeah.
if it come again here, you
No,
go.
no. You go on d2, yes, on black, you see.
Yeah.
On black. And that's it's enough. White wins in any case. It's now perpetual. The pawn is in c7 and he can't control, and finished. But I tell you, if I played first h3, it was much easier. By playing c6, the best
Yeah.
move, it seems.
Yeah. Yes.
You have to win a winning position second time.
Yeah.
Very small mistake in time trouble. It was enough to work
Start
again, to work. Yeah.
But it's good you won second time also.
Yeah, the second time it happened. There are some other games where you don't get the second
The second chance.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
But
Gheorghiu.
it therefore was very interesting. You see, because many such moments you see there.
Yes. Yes. All right.
Yeah. All right.